the red leaf. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh my stars. Are you alright?
Yeah.
Oh, is it
Fine.
her mom and dad? Love at first sight.
Because this exact leaf had to grow in that exact way.
For them to
In
meet.
that exact place. So that precise wind could tear it from that precise branch and make it fly into this exact face. Just one of those tiny little things had never happened. I'd never have met you. Which makes this the most important leaf in human history.
Page 1. See? Yeah, it's gotta be Clara.
Oh my stars, are you alright?
Take it easy, man.
Fine. Marvelous. Refulgent.
Oh, look at that.
Possibly a touch embarrassed.
She does look younger. They managed it. Yes. Okay. Oh, she's got her bag. She's ready to go.
Where do you want to go? Hey? What do you want to see?
Mom?
I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough.
When somebody asks you what's your favourite book and straight away you forget every single book that you've ever read.
No,
Spot on.
you know.
Well, it's a thing that happens. Something awesome.
This is a man who knows awesome.
Okay.
Oh, this is going to be some sight, isn't it?
Are you ready? Welcome to the rings of Akhaten.
Wow.
It's a holy site for the sound singers of Akhaten.
The who of what?
Yeah.
7 worlds orbiting the same star, all of them sharing the belief that life in the universe originated here.
Oh.
On that planet.
Did it?
Well, it's what they believe.
I like that.
It's a nice story.
He wasn't dismissive. He loves this bit. He loves it. The first outing. Seeing their faces light up.
You've been here before?
Yes. I came here a long time ago with
Yeah.
my granddaughter.
So,
Hang on.
granddaughter?
Sentimental value, a photograph, love letter, something like that. That's what's used for currency here, psychometry.
Not the leaf.
Objects psychically imprinted with their history. The more treasured they are, the more value they hold.
That's horrible.
Don't get lost. Don't get separated.
Doctor?
That was quick. And so it begins.
You okay?
The story of the episode. Look at those brows. Love a good set of brows.
I just saw a little girl who looked like she needed help. Really? Really, really. Space. Shippy thing. Timey. Spacey.
You have the key, right?
You wait. Oh, come on. What's wrong?
Oh, he didn't give the key?
Doesn't matter where you are, in the jungle or the desert or on the moon.
The globe.
However lost you might feel, you'll never really be lost. Not really, because I will always be here.
Oh, that looks great. That looks great. Is that Grandpa? No. It's the... It really kind of feels like Thor Ragnarok, doesn't it? Though this came long before that. Yeah. Oh, wow.
They're singing to the mummy in the temple. They call it the old god. Sometimes grandfather.
Ah, it is.
Generation after generation after generation.
You can't just walk away. This is my fault. I talked you into doing this.
Listen, there is one thing you need to know about traveling with me. Well, one thing apart from the blue box and the 2 hearts. You don't walk away.
Her mother's ring?
It's my mum's.
The look on his face. He's so guilty. He feels guilty. Alright, the appraisal.
Are you coming, then? Did I mention that the door is immensely heavy?
Leave.
Ah. Okay.
Did you just lock us in?
Yep.
With the soul-eating monster?
Yep.
Sure
Is there
did.
actually a way to get out?
On your story.
She didn't say story, she said souls.
Same thing. The soul's made of stories, not atoms. Everything that ever happened to us, people we loved, people we lost, people we found again against all the odds.
Yeah.
He threatens to wake. They offer him a pure soul, the soul of the Queen of Years.
Stop it, you're scaring her.
Good. She should be scared. She's sacrificing herself. She should know what that means. All the elements in your body were forged many, many millions of years ago in the heart of a faraway star that exploded and died. That explosion scattered those elements across the desolations of deep space after so many millions of years until eventually they came together to make you. You are unique in the universe. There is only one Mary Galel.
Man is a storyteller.
Getting rid of that existence isn't a sacrifice, it is a waste. Cross my hearts.
And now Clara is kind of getting to see him do his thing, right? That's lovely. Oh,
My stars.
yeah.
It needs us all. He'll spread across the system,
See-
consuming the 7 worlds.
Give it a story.
There's no more to eat. He'll embark on a new odyssey among the stars.
You're going to fight it, aren't you?
Regrettably, yes, I think I may be about to do that.
It's really big.
I've seen bigger.
Really?
Are you joking? It's massive. No, we don't walk away. But when we're holding on to something precious, we run. We run and run fast as we can, and we don't stop running until we are out from under the shadow.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Here it is. No, didn't think so.
Now everyone gets to watch the show. The Doctor,
Isn't he frightened?
I think he is.
true
He's
character,
very frightened.
under
I want to
pressure.
help.
So do I.
My
I adore this man so much. This actor, Matt Smith.
That's what I'll do. I will tell you a story.
It is. It's about to be a grand story, isn't it?
Take my memories. But I hope you've got a big appetite.
Yeah.
Because I am my own life, and I have seen a few things. I looked away from the last great Time War. I marked the passing of the Time Lords. I saw the birth of the universe, and I watched as time ran out. Moment by moment until nothing remained, no time. I have seen things you wouldn't believe. I have lost things you will never understand. And I know things, secrets that must never be told, knowledge that must never be spoken. So come on!
Wow.
Then take it! Take it all, then! Have it! You have it all!
Matt Smith.
Still hungry?
She's gonna offer the leaf.
I brought something for you. All the days that never came. And these are all my mum's.
Well, come on then. Eat up. There's an awful lot of one, but there's an infinity of the other.
It looks different.
Nope. Same house, same city, same planet.
Hey, same day actually, huh? Yeah, not bad.
You were there. At Mum's grave, you were watching.
Yeah. Quick glimpse of that.
You remind me of someone.
Who?
Someone who died.
Well, whoever she was, I'm not her, okay? If you want me to travel with you, that's fine.
But.
But as me, I'm not bargain basement standing for somebody else. I'm not going to compete with a ghost.
There you go. Mum's ring.
They wanted you to have it. You, no one else. Clara.
Okay, yes. That is the second outing for Clara. And, the second outing for a new companion is a bit of a tradition, isn't it? It's a bit of a staple in the series because it puts them in an alien setting, essentially, right? And you really get to see how they handle it, how they kind of take it all in, how they kind of mingle, how they kind of handle a specific situation that might be going on at that time specifically. Hell, I think the Doctor might have actually disappeared for a bit on purpose, kind of walked away for a bit on purpose to let Clara kind of just, walk around, kind of take it all in. And of course, like many others before her, the companion ends up kind of mingling and tangling up emotionally, right? Ends up connecting emotionally or having an emotional connection. Here she makes a connection with the Princess of Years, Mary, right? And, I think her dynamic with children is certainly on display once again. It's nothing new. I've seen it already through the Snowmen. So, that's certainly going to be an ongoing thing, isn't it? An ongoing theme or dynamic. Though, the Doctor and that little girl, I'm sure he must have thought about young Amelia, right? Listen, I'll get to the Doctor. I'll get to Matt Smith because, oh my goodness. But, for now, let's kind of stick to Clara and her outing, her second outing, right? Like I was kind of mentioning earlier, it's essentially a rite of passage as well, right? I saw Rose and Eccleston in episode 2. I've seen Martha and Tennant, right? Or, Martha and Tennant. Then I've seen Donna and Tennant. Though, of course, with Donna, it was in the past, right? And also, another recurring theme is the fact that the companion usually ends up kind of assisting the Doctor in this type of episode, in this episode specifically, the second outing, right? I still remember Amy, The Beast Below, right? That episode, it's really quite memorable. The final segments of that episode and Amy's hand in that conclusion, right? And then, of course, Donna, she kind of made the Doctor do something he doesn't usually do. Remember, it was all about just save one family, right? I'll never forget those tears streaming down her face. And then, of course, the Doctor reaching out, the TARDIS door opening, the hand of God reaching out to a future Doctor, Peter Capaldi, who I'm not too far off from at this point. It's on the horizon. Once upon a time, I couldn't even imagine, how long it's going to take me to get to Capaldi. But now, it's nice. It's nice to be able to be in this position now that I'm almost to Capaldi. But of course, there's also that sad moment, realizing that the clock is on now, because this is episode 7 of series 7. There's not too many left. There's not too many left of Matt Smith. In this episode, I noticed that for the first time in a long time, since the Matt Smith era, he looked much older. Right? And I'm speaking of I'm speaking of the actor, Matt Smith, right? But even, him putting on the glasses, them in the crowd for the recital, there's that one moment as he's kind of telling Clara about the traditions, right? For generations and generations, that bit. And, I love Clara kind of listening and taking it all in, right? As if she's listening to a professor, a teacher, a mentor, right? That's the tone I was getting from the Doctor sitting there. He had his glasses on. I don't know. To me, I was looking at the screen. I was like, look at that, Matt Smith. He feels so much older. I mean, he certainly doesn't have that, not boyish charm of the 11th Hour, but he did have that young gun feeling to him, didn't he? Back in the 11th Hour and in a lot of series 5, right? But no, now, you see it in his face. And, of course, he's aged a bit. But I think it makes sense. I think it fits in perfectly, doesn't it? To see this Matt Smith here in, the final stanza of his run. Though, of course, beyond Series 7, I know there's a bunch of specials. I know about the big 50th anniversary special that's coming up for me. That's coming up too, right? How exciting. And how about Marigold's music in this episode? Beautiful stuff. Of course, it plays a major part in that scene, the scene, right? One of the best of the entire show, for me at least, and I'm sure for many of you, Though I'm sure there's a few that probably have some negative things to say about it, and that's fine, to each their own. But my opinion on the matter, I thought that was Matt Smith at his best. That was just phenomenal. I think that was just phenomenal. Matt Smith, I guess, I'm kind of skipping over and I am kind of gravitating towards Matt Smith again. I'll come back to Clara. But yeah, Matt Smith, out of the doctors I've seen, he's the one who has the depiction of grief really down, right? Now that doesn't mean the others didn't. It's just that I think the writing didn't really focus on that aspect of it. I saw the anger of the Doctor, of the Time Lord, a lot through Eccleston, right? It was a bit of a grumpy era. There's a lot of anger there for Eccleston. Tennant, mellowed out a bit, but there was still anger there as well, right? From time to time, you really see the wrath of the Doctor. And, of course, Matt Smith has that as well. I've seen that. I've seen the wrath of the Doctor in the Matt Smith era as well. But the grief, oh my God, the pain in his voice throughout that monologue. And, that moment as he falls to one knee and he slumps over, his head slumps over. Imagine the thoughts going through his mind, To me, it even kind of felt like he must have been hoping that he could finally kind of get rid of these memories once and for all, because he does put his life on the line, right? Instead of Mary, the Princess of Years, right? So he goes in there expecting to die, right? I mean, I had all these thoughts running through my mind, just like how the Doctor must have had these thoughts running through his mind, that no, I'm stuck. I'm stuck with these memories for life. This is the burden of the Time Lord. Matt Smith really does excel at that as well, right? The grief, the burden of the Time Lord. All of that. And you see it just pouring out of him in that monologue, right? It's beautiful stuff. It really is. And, Clara actually gets to listen in, right? Her reactions are really quite telling. So it'll be interesting how that develops down the line, or I mean, not down the line. It's got to be soon, right? In the next few episodes. I'm sure she'll ask him about some of the things he mentioned here. But there's a moment as there's one tear kind of coming down his cheek. He was letting it all out, man. He was opening up. It was an emotional release. And yeah, I certainly got emotional. I was kind of speechless. To me, it felt like, something special is happening here. I'm just going to watch. And it really got me. It had me kind of choked up. Certainly, it had me a little bit teary-eyed to see the Doctor laying it all out in such a manner. You really get a sense of how alone he is, right? And I guess Clara also gets a sense of that. And also potentially maybe he was hoping that maybe there is some other entity that can shoulder some of this burden, right? That can kind of handle some of this. But no, he's the one cursed with the burden of being a Time Lord, cursed with these memories. There's a great moment for me personally as well, because, Blade Runner is one of my all-time favorites. And you see that a bit of inspiration is taken from the iconic, the legendary final moments or final speech of Roy Batty in Blade Runner. I've seen things you wouldn't believe, right? I've lost things that you couldn't even understand. That part's from the Doctor, from Doctor Who. But yeah, it's a phenomenal moment. It's an all-timer moment, isn't it? Right now I kind of want to just go back and listen to it a few more times. I've listened to it like 2-3 times already. After watching the episode, I just kind of had to go back and check it out again. It's gripping. It really is gripping. Ultimately, it felt like it was much more than just a story that he wanted to feed to this god or this entity, right? It felt like this emotional release, this cathartic moment almost for the Doctor. These are things that he holds in, that he's held in for a long, long time. So it hits hard. It certainly hits hard. It serves its purpose. Matt Smith serves the purpose and then some. It immediately reminded me of Stonehenge, that monologue. Though I've got to say, I think this one tops it. Right? Because of the emotional resonance attached to this one and that release, that grief, that pain. And the crazy thing is, there's actually 2 more really great monologue moments in this episode. One is earlier, Matt Smith, right? You are unique in the universe, as he's speaking to Mary, right? I love that. That was fantastic, you know? The range of Matt Smith is certainly on display. And then later, of course, Clara, right? She brings in the leaf, page 1, the leaf that means so much to her, right? The leaf that she's given so much meaning to, right? The infinite possibilities of that leaf, or the infinite possibilities that leaf presents. You know, I didn't think that diminished the Doctor's monologue moment. Listen, I could totally see, I've been around long enough now, around Doctor Who. I've been around long enough now to know that I'm sure for many that really kind of diminished the Doctor's moment. You know, I could maybe understand that angle a bit. You know, I personally didn't feel like, oh man, you know, that moment just got robbed, and, you know, this new companion comes in and puts up this leaf. I didn't feel like that personally, right? I actually think there's some fantastic emotional setups earlier in the episode, in the first half of the episode, and the payoff, right, through Clara and the Doctor's offerings, I think it hits just perfectly, right? And of course, speaking of Clara, you know, she does not miss a beat in this episode. And also, you know, it was great to get a bit of backstory for Clara. You know, if you know me, you know I love a bit of backstory. You know, I really do. But now, you know, through some of this backstory, I can kind of, you know, connect with the character in that sense, or begin to connect with Clara in that sense, you know, beyond just the mystery of Clara. And, you know, at the end there, again, bit of an ominous ending there as Clara exits. I suppose she's going to go collect her things, maybe? I don't know, you know, but she came back, right? You see that she lost her own mother at such an early age. And, you know, she can sympathize and she can empathize. So she cares for these children, right? She wants to check in, perhaps. Though she mentioned it looked different, and her expressions actually made it seem like she does believe that it looks different. But the Doctor said, no, it's the same day. It's the same as you left it. And, you know, she actually kind of calls out the Doctor, doesn't she, about the cemetery business. You were there, right? You know, it was a little bit strange. You know, I've got to say, you know, the Doctor kind of, you know, I don't want to say stalk. I don't want to say he was stalking them, but, you know, he was, you know, throughout the years, or checking in on Clara and her family throughout the years, you know, throughout her growth. But I've got to say, you know, I love that segment in the beginning, and I believe that's the same score or track from the God Complex, right? The one that was kind of playing in the hotel in the beginning stages, in the opening. But yeah, I love that segment. I thought it was so lovely. It was so wholesome. It was beautiful. You know, I love the connection that Clara had with her mother. I think that might actually play a role. And that book clearly belonged to her mother before her. So yeah, you know, there's some great bit of setup here through the backstory. A lot of fantastic insight. And also, you know, from a production standpoint, that might have been the most alien creatures I've seen on screen in Doctor Who for some time now. I mean, there was a plethora of unique creatures, right? And creature designs walking around in that market. You know, that I thought that was a great segment. It was. You know, reminiscent of Star Wars, of course. Maybe a bit of Indiana Jones as well later on, you know. But yeah, you know, the thing that really impressed me are some of these exterior shots. Oh my goodness. I mean, those are some of the best of the series. And I think, you know, Clara having her eyes closed and then opening them and seeing that sight, I think the level of that, the level of those visuals actually kind of get that across, doesn't it? You know, to us, the audience, it looks incredible. So it sells it. I think it sells the moment. You know, perhaps some of it's a bit dodgy here and there, but you know, there's a lot of really good stuff in here. A lot of really fantastic shots. I mean, some of the silhouette shots of the Doctor and then later Clara and the Doctor together. Oh, but yeah, that might do it for this one. And the mystery of Clara continues, doesn't it? Though, yeah, she gave a fantastic account in this one as a new companion. Like I said, she does not miss a beat. You know, Jenna Coleman, yeah, this is a fantastic. This is a proper companion for sure, for sure. So I'm excited. I'm certainly quite excited to see more of Jenna Coleman and Matt Smith together and more of this mystery. And I thought it was really fantastic to actually have the leaf, the red leaf, page 1, plays such an importance here, right? After being kind of set up earlier in the last episode. I thought that was great. You know, I really wasn't expecting it to kind of play such an important part, but it did, right? Beginning with that beautiful backstory and then that fantastic, emotionally resonant finale, right? Then if you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments. Give me your thoughts. Certainly give me your thoughts on this one and some of the different elements of this episode. If you're interested in early access or perhaps even full length, consider checking out the Patreon page. The links are in the description and the pinned comment. Also links to social media. Right then, thank you so much for joining me and thank you for your time, because time is precious and I do appreciate it. And I do hope to see you again soon for the next one. Until then, take it easy.